Good afternoon, everyone. How's it going? Time for your regularly scheduled content in the form of Snap Count Monday. And it's nice to be able to do one of these after a win, first time in a while, but the formula stays largely the same. We take a look at the Seahawks players who play in some degree of rotation and see how the rotations were utilized. So, starting with the running backs, let's just jump right in here. Carson did not play again, and in his place, it was mostly Alex Collins who got 27 snaps. Not a ton of offensive snaps this week. I think it was something like 55 or 54. So it was definitely another game where the defense played way more than the offense, but this time that was a little more acceptable because the Jaguars ran a lot of plays in garbage time where we were just kind of letting them slowly chug down the field. So I can deal with it in a game like this. But anyway, Alex Collins got about half the snaps. Travis Homer got 17. Rashad Penny got 11 and looks like he's probably just not really got anything in the tank. I was hopeful for the Rashad Penny experience this year, but the ACL injury clearly robbed whatever explosiveness he once had, and it's probably just time to move on. If anybody wants to give us a bag of chips for him today or tomorrow before the trade deadline, I would probably jump all over that. As for DJ Dallas, he got 2 snaps. So if Carson's not going to be back in 2 weeks for the Packers game, probably at this point we need to start using DJ a little bit more. I know that there are obvious holes in his game, but there's something there. There's something you can get out of DJ Dallas. I feel like he is a competent NFL player based off what we saw in the little bit of action he's gotten so far this year, plus the preseason. So I understand that he's not a good blocker, and that's not something we're comfortable with, but we got to find a way to get him maybe 8 snaps a game. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I think that's going to be the important adjustment you make if Carson doesn't come back and if Penny's going to continue to be completely worthless like he has been the last couple games. But if Carson comes back, things are going to fall into order pretty neatly. Time will tell. Okay, wide receiver. And this is actually kind of interesting, and I want to see if this continues to be the case when Wilson gets back. Metcalf's share of the snaps, and to a lesser extent Tyler Lockett's, have been a little lower than expected while Geno Smith was quarterback. We definitely saw more plays where Metcalf or Lockett, or in some cases both of them, were on the sideline. And I'm interested to see if that might have something to do with Geno being the quarterback, or if it just has something to do with the fact that Wilson's not out there, because they were missing some snaps when Wilson was playing, but it seems like the rate at which they're not getting out on the field is increasing a little bit. Now, Metcalf does have the injured foot. That might be affecting him a little bit, but I want to see if this continues when Wilson gets back. It's kind of interesting here. Metcalf played 41 snaps. Not even 75%, I don't think. So, kind of curious here. Lockett played 44. I want to see if that continues, basically. Freddie Swain played 37, continues to be mostly unproductive with Geno Smith throwing the ball, but he's still playing a lot, almost as much as Metcalf and Lockett, actually. Hart played 16 snaps, and that's it for the receivers. Now we go to the tight ends, and we see a little bit of a correction here. Gerald Everett played 44 snaps. Will Dissly played 36. That's kind of the ratio I was expecting this year, maybe even a little bit more towards Gerald Everett, but this is more akin to what I was thinking this season was going to be like. Colby Parkinson played 8 and Mabry played 0. So maybe, I mean, the end of game stats don't really reflect this, but there were stretches in that Jaguars game where we just let Geno drop back and throw, drop back and throw, drop back and throw. We let him get into a rhythm. We didn't go to any run plays for sometimes 4 or 5 plays in a row, and it worked fairly well, generally speaking. There wasn't a huge imbalance in the end of game run pass split, but I definitely I definitely noticed there was more of a commitment to let Geno get into a rhythm, and I wish we had done that earlier. That could have maybe produced a win the previous couple games. But Everett did get a few more snaps than Dissly, and I think that there's a correlation there, right? there's a correlation between Everett playing more and us committing to the pass a little bit more. So I like that. I know Everett didn't have a huge game or anything, but there are lots of reasons why that might be the case. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the quarterbacks. I don't know if it's the scheme, the game plan, the coaching, the players. I don't think it's the players because we know Everett was good elsewhere, and we know that Dissly has been good in the past. Granted, not the athlete that he once was because of the injuries, but still, I don't think the players are just incapable of getting open. We saw the tight ends used pretty effectively in the first game of the season, too, so I don't know. I don't know. That's something to watch as the season goes on. Okay, defense time. And we're going to start with the defensive ends, as we always do. And there's some stuff here that I really like. I'm going to continue to say that as much as this season is not going the way we wanted it to, and as much as I dearly hope that somebody gets held accountable for that, I like the fact that we're using a very wide rotation on the defensive line. Dunlap had 39 snaps out of, I think, 76, so around half. We once again played another game where we had a massive number of defensive snaps, like I said, but I'm okay with that as long as a lot of those snaps come in garbage time. Now, real quick here, before I get into that, I don't know why this team didn't play some of their straight backups when garbage time came around. I don't know why Bobby Wagner needs to be out there at the end of the game when he's an aging veteran with a lot of miles on his body. I don't know why Jamal and Diggs had to be out there for every snap. I don't know why they didn't pull those guys out and put in guys like Radigan and Barton and just because it's garbage time. Let some of those guys play a little bit. But anyway, Dunlap played 39. Alton Robinson played 27. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but to me, Alton Robinson is one of the guys on this team with upside, and he's got youthful energy. I don't know why he's not playing more in these games where we're playing so many snaps on defense. Benson Mayo played 23, so his role is getting reduced, which I like because he's basically the textbook definition of a jag. Kerry Hyder played 29 snaps, so his role is getting reduced slightly over the past several weeks, which is reasonable. I mean, I like Kerry Hyder. Decent player, but not a pure pass rusher, so good idea to maybe limit it as much as he's on the field. Unfortunately, it mostly came because Rasheem Green, who once again leads the defensive ends in snaps played, 44. He is the only defensive end we have who has played more than 47% of the snaps this season. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but Rasheem Green is another jag. He's just a dude, just a guy, just another guy. Why is he getting more snaps than somebody like Alton Robinson, who is actually potentially part of this team's future, has upside? And I know that Rasheem Green is no older than Alton Robinson, really, because Rasheem Green came into the league very young, but I feel like the book has been written on Rasheem Green. I don't need to see him for this many snaps. Give Kerry Hyder those snaps. Give Alton Robinson those snaps. I've seen all I need to see with Rasheem Green, and I used to be in his corner, but he's just another guy, and I don't need to see him this much, period. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the general state of the rotation. This is solid. Nobody on the line played more than 44 snaps. That's really good. Poona Ford played 40 snaps at defensive tackle. Al Woods played 27. So they got a reduced workload after last week, which was really good to see. Collier was inactive and might get traded in the next couple hours. Brian Monet played 22 snaps. Kim Dichie played 28. Kim Dichie played a pretty good game, by the way. But, yeah, this is a nice little rotation. Poona Ford's your best guy. He plays 40 snaps, more than half, and then everyone else just kind of matriculates in and out of the lineup, and you end up with a fairly balanced set of snaps. Linebacker, Bobby Wagner played every snap, as he always does. Jordan Brooks played 55, which, given the fact that we seem to be doing so well in our dime packages, and it seems like our defense plays better the more defensive backs we put out there, that number could probably stand to be a little bit lower, but at the same time, I do want to give Jordan Brooks time this year to see if anything's developing there, because right now I feel like Jordan Brooks can go either way. Darrell Taylor, in his return from injury, played 35 snaps and was quite productive. to my eye. So good to see him back and good to see him getting involved and playing more snaps than he did in Week 5 against the Rams, which was, I think, the game that made Carroll realize that he needed to get him on the field more. And Barton, Belor, and Radigan did not play. Cornerback. Okay, we had a little bit of an injury here that caused DJ Reed to miss a lot of snaps at the end of the game. He finally missed a big chunk of snaps, only played 49. Sidney Jones played 35. Trey Brown was actually one of our snap leaders at 68. So Trey Brown basically played the whole game. He came out for one little stretch, I think, and then he went back in permanently because DJ Reed got hurt. So he basically played the whole game and played well. Ugo Amadi played a huge chunk of this game as well, which exhibits the fact that we were playing our nickel packages and dime packages a lot, 65. So almost as much as Trey Brown. Ryan Neal played 21 snaps, so decent amount of time spent in dime, which I like because it's something that's working. And at the end of the day, I don't feel the need for this team to do things exactly the way I want them to do. I need them to find something that works well, and it seems like that dime package works pretty well. And that's it for Snap Count Monday. Pretty good all around. I am continually annoyed that Rasheem Green's seen so much time, but in terms of the actual amount of rotating of players, it's pretty good. Oh, and by the way, I know I don't have this listed here, but it is kind of pertinent. Apparently, Ethan Posick played every snap at center yesterday. So if you were wondering about that, then it seems like Posick is just the guy right now. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Should be streaming some Dead by Daylight tonight. Could be streaming some Persona 4 tonight. We'll see. But talk to y'all later. Go Hawks.